Daisy leans hard into Sarge to find out what really lies beneath. And Izel knows exactly what she wants and how to get it. It's Agents of S.P.O.I.L.E.R.S, Season 6, Episode 11. From the Ashes. Hey everyone, D here, and welcome to this week's review of Agents of S.P.O.I.L.E.R. So yes, of course, lots of spoilers ahead, and as always, do want to remind you about our quick jump index system. Just take a look down in the description below. We'll have this entire review broken down, categorized, stylized, and timeized. That makes no sense, but easy to jump 2 points. You can watch the end of the review first. You can watch the beginning last. You can watch this in any order you'd like. So, yes, I'm home! Yay! Had a great trip, very long, very nice. The weather in Alaska was actually quite beautiful, nice and cool. Very unlike the weather back here at home that I returned to, which is up in the 90s. So if I am pouring sweat at this point, please forgive me. I've tried to cool things off and wait as late as possible to review this episode. And wow. I mean, yeah. Come on, this show kicks ass, doesn't it? Let's just throw that out right from the beginning. 6 seasons still coming up with powerful storylines, really developing our characters. We're seeing them bigger, badassier. We're finding new interesting points with this. I mean, really, just a tremendous episode. And what it really points out here is I like smart villains. I do. It's something I had. Maybe it's growing up and having your cheesy villain of the week that for some reason wants to take over Ma and Pa's diner, so they gotta call the A-Team in. A super secret high-tech ranger force of killing machines to go and, you know, kick the bikers out of whatever. I mean, that's what I grew up with. Dumb villains. Here, we got some smart villains. And I love that about Izel. I mean, from the very opening scene, she knows how to use her strength. She knows what she wants. She knows how to get it. She is manipulative and she is inventive. The whole like I said, the whole opening sequence, we have Daisy waking up from a stupor and we're seeing an injured Mac there. And it's like, oh my God, and they're sort of catching up. You know, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, where's Izel? I mean, she's not piloting. Is she researching? She's finding some information? No, she's not. She's right there inside of Mac. I mean, that was just a brilliant bit. Sucker Yo-Yo in, let her know what's going on, tease out the information that she needs, and boom, pulls it right out. And that was really that was Izel throughout this whole episode. Every bit smart, observant, ruthless by far, certainly, and willing to do what she needs, and knowing how to manipulate the people around her. Using Yo-Yo and Max love against each other, using Benson's, don't fear death, and yet there are worse things than death to fear. Again, just really smart. Really enjoying all of those Izel scenes. And then, of course, we have our sort of interrogation of Sarge. Starting out with May and landing up with Daisy and then going hard with Daisy to push and prod and really find out, is Coulson in there? Is this just Pachakutik? Is this some amalgam of the two? Who is winning? What do they want? Really ratcheting that tension up and still giving us our nice little insights into how Sarge really came into being. Just emotion all the way with those scenes. And then also seeing some great, like I said, evolution of characters. Really enjoying Daisy stepping more into that leadership role. Yes, she has a pattern. As Gemma pointed out, stressful things happen. She runs away. Becomes inhuman, she runs away. Lincoln dies, she runs away. Coulson dies, she runs away. Yes, it's a repetitive pattern, but she's learning from it. And there were so many great interactions through this episode. Daisy and Piper in the beginning was excellent. I love it. Piper, should you be here? Look, if you send me back to the infirmary, I'm going to mutiny. We can see that anger, that energy with Piper, the loss of Davis, obviously very hard, and knowing that she has to keep herself busy, focused, finding a solution. Very strong stuff with Piper through this episode. May and Daisy, some great bits back and forth, both when May is sort of pushing on Daisy, especially the thing about, I wish you would remember back when I was your SO, and Coulson, and telling you that you do whatever you can when you find the good inside of someone, really pushing those buttons, pushing back. But Daisy also kind of pushing with May. This isn't the person that you fell in love with. This is someone else. Just really some great interactions. And each one sort of building onto each other and leading us to some of the great interactions that we had with Sarge. One, his line when May was interrogating him, and he just starts pushing back in that harsh line, "I am not the cure for your loneliness." Oh, just digs right in there. And of course then Daisy throwing it right back and like, "No, you mean nothing to me." Just great moments and really character evolutions to this. Really enjoyed it. Very gripping. And then of course we have our final little bit where, oh man, the creation monolith. Definitely the most powerful. Can reach into your mind and create whatever it sees there. But you humans, you can't control what you think. You only create what you fear. Or, if manipulated right, what you were afraid might or could be used against you, which reveals our final little bit there with Flint's appearance back from last season, pulled from the future and made for disasters today. Really a great way to end things up. How else would you harness all of that monolith energy? Get someone that can take the raw materials all around and resonate them all perfectly within. Resonating being the key for both Izel's desires and her downfall. So let's start things off with Sarge, who's kind of losing it in a way. His whole persona beginning to break down. And of course, May starting to see that there might be a little bit of Coulson inside of him. Like I said, really some great sequences. Clark Gregg, again, bringing it with a whole complexity of emotions. But we're seeing as Sarge sort of breakdown, he's never had memories. His argument with Izel is, you took everything from me and then you took my memories of my family as well. Well, again, we're finding out, of course, not his memories per se. Sarge is really a blend of Coulson and Pachacootic right here. Has become another individual. I think possibly because Pachacootic has dwelled inside of Sarge for so long. Or perhaps, like I was mentioning last week, a strength of inner Coulson holding on to his own sort of identity. We do know, he did mention today, of course, he's never had memories per se. He's just had a feeling, a drive. There's something inside of him that he's known to be true. And that's been sort of his drive for this. But now, after being shot, those things are all shifting. He is starting to remember. He's also starting to become stronger. The forces inside of him are separating in some manner. And I just sort of love seeing that whole sort of cascade. Like I said, great bits between May and Coulson. May trying to reach out, be sympathetic, Coulson pushing back. And then, of course, Daisy going in the complete opposite. You mean nothing to me. You aren't the person that you say. What she goes after to May about that. This isn't the person that you fell in love with. And, maybe this is, again, part of her pattern of pushing back against things. Yes, she sees Pachacootic, she sees Sarge as a threat, and reasonably so. But I think more to the point, she doesn't want it to be Coulson. And I think we felt a lot of that energy in here. When she takes that break and goes and reads Coulson's letter to her, that was sweet. And I was expecting, I did start to tear up a little bit. I'm like, oh, this is going to be the big emotion we're going to hear. Coulson's last message to her, and I found it interesting that they chose not to share that with us, the audience. It's typical with those scenes is, they open the letter and then whoever wrote it, their voice comes out and sort of reads the letter to them in the big heartfelt emotional bit. And so I was kind of expecting that to come up. And I like the fact that they didn't. Just because it still keeps that message personal. We see that there was, Daisy sort of reflects back on it a little bit, later on. But it was just, it keeps it for Daisy. And I think, one, it could be a reveal for us later. But it's just usurping expectations. It's just switching things around. We expect to see that. We expect to have that emotional ride. But they don't need to do it. They know that we're with it and we want to see where things are going on. We don't need that overly sappy moment. And what really would have been, what could Coulson have said, what could have the letter have said that would, for us, the audience, really make things better out of just, a message like, you're always strong, perhaps maybe even reflecting on to Sarge's last little message to Daisy there in the hallway, which we're going to get to in just a minute. I do want to hit on, I loved her sort of response off of that to angrily go after Sarge to prove that this is not Coulson, to force whatever is there inside of him, the anger that is building, the strength that she wants to see so much. And really a great whole sequence right there too. First off, quaking him, breaking his neck, but then the whole discussion between her and Fitzsimmons and Deke through the monitor. Well, if I told you what I was going to do, would you have stopped me? Yes, of course. What are you doing? Keep an eye on him. I mean, even the whole bit when she's attacked Sarge, the first thing that she wants to do is to did you record all that? Are you watching? What is it saying? She does have a plan, even though it's kind of maybe too much, maybe a little aggressive. She does have a plan. And like I said, I've really been enjoying that with Daisy. Even when she is seeming a little reactionary, she does have a thought process behind it. She wants to be sure that they are still gathering data. They are watching what's going on. How is Sarge going to respond to being killed? How quick will he come back? And much like being shot by Izel, now coming back, is he going to be stronger? Is she going to be able to push Pachacootic out of his body? Which he kind of does, certainly wakens a bit more with a little smacky on Daisy there and break through the doorway. So again, you got to be careful what you wish for. But that does lead to our big final encounter, which you knew it was going to be. It is our Scene of the Week for this week. And yeah, that's the Sarge versus Daisy. I'm going to keep calling him Phil because he is down inside there. And if anything, this scene revealed it. We have had glimpses. We got to see sort of the formation of Sarge a little bit earlier as he was waking up. The sort of condensation of the creation Monolith's abilities there. And some figures when he woke up staring down at him, which I'm hoping down the road we're going to see. But that wasn't in this sequence. All that built to it. Now Daisy with the sword, ready to take him out. Kill whatever that is, even in the body of Coulson, because she knows it is Pachacootic until she knows that it's not. Because Sarge isn't going through to try and get out. He's trying to get to the sword himself. He's trying to find a way to kill himself. The anger is coming up. He wants to stop it before it gets out. Sarge, not the sacrificing type. Coulson is. And in that moment, I'm going to get all teary right now too, damn it. In that moment, Daisy sees that there is Coulson inside. He is the one that would sacrifice himself in order to stop whatever evil might be inside him. That's not a Sarge thing. That's a Coulson thing. And she can't kill him there. But it was just, yeah, I'm going to tear up. Look, it's just going to happen. I love these moments. But yeah, just again, all of the emotion right there. Daisy very committed. We don't know what Sarge is doing. And then we find out he's doing exactly what we don't think. He's going to end himself. He's doing the Phil Coulson bit, proving finally to Daisy, May's already known, that Coulson is inside there. Benson with a big old hug. Come on, how can you not love that? Now, as for Izel, she is looking for a temple, a very specific temple where the Dialis can be used to open a doorway between our world and hers. But she needs the Monolith in order to do it. Lots of moving pieces in her plan. But first she's got to find the temple, and to do that, of course, she coaxes Benson's name out of Yo-Yo in that, I mentioned before, beautiful opening sequence. And you know, I gotta say, I'm really enjoying Benson here. When he comes on, giving us this background information about the temples and everything, and Yo-Yo's trying so hard to give him some sort of signal without letting Mac Izel see any of that. It was a great bit. I loved how Yo-Yo was patient, waiting until Max sort of turned around, but used the Keller reference, just sort of waiting for that opening. You know, it's the one on the two ley line, so Keller would know that he was right. Oh, he'll be sure to know. It's very amusing to him. You know, he'll find that very amusing. Perfect thing, because, of course, Benson was there when Keller died, knowing exactly that something's wrong, and picks up on it. Now, he's not a trained spy, so he doesn't really know how to maintain that cover, and Izel is a smart villain, like I said, and sees that Benson is definitely at this point hiding something. But the fact that everybody is moving and reacting and being smart, again, I love smart characters. I love smart interactions. Not everything is always successful, which is good to show here. Again, it shows that Benson's smart, he can pick up on things, but he doesn't know spycraft. He doesn't know how to lie for any long periods of time. Which means, of course, in order to prove a point, because he's not going to give up the end, something that's going to end the world, we get our red shirt kill. And come on! When you have a nameless, faceless S.H.I.E.L.D. agent show up next to Dr. Benson, and the only one left is the bad guy, you know he was dead. That's how I wrote him in my notes. Benson and red shirt. I'm glad I was right. I mean, we didn't know who this person was. We don't have the same attachment like of Davis and Killer. But again, you have to have this. She's got to be able to kill someone to prove her point. And did that very effectively. I love, and it shows that Izel, we've been trading a few discussion points in the chat for the last couple of episodes, bringing up, you know, why is Izel saving people she can just kill? But she needs information, and she knows that only living people can give information. Yes, there's also the whole hosts for the Shrike and her people to come up and all of that. More people are alive, the more of her people can come up and take over. Yes, that's true. But I also think she's only killing when she needs to make a point, and the only people she really kills are the ones that she knows is going to be no longer useful. And she definitely needs Benson's information, which, again, just cold and cruel. Bringing up Thomas, his dead husband, as a way to pull and coax things out. And that illustrates something I thought really interesting about the Creation Stone itself. Now it says, it reaches into your mind and creates what it sees there. And humans tend to just create what it fears. But it's any real strong emotion. I think you can create what you love also, but maybe it manifests through that love what you fear. For Benson, of course, it was, did he make the wrong choice? He was told Thomas was brain dead, was in a coma, gave it there, parents coming in saying, please give him more time, sister coming in, please give him more time. And he's got to be the one to make that choice. And the fact that he used Thomas as saying, I heard everything there. That's what it makes me wonder. It's not creating the actual individual. It's creating the individual as the person remembers. So I think it can simulate those memories. He can see, even though if Thomas was brain dead and there was no way that he could hear it, this Thomas could say that they heard Benson's images because it's pulling everything out of Benson's memory. I heard what you say. That's how we can know what the doctor said, or what the parents said, or that Benson was drinking and how much you had been drinking at that point. Again, just cruel and harsh. And then Izel killing him right there. I can make him again and keep killing him over and over, and it would be your fault. That's just harsh. Yes, Benson has seen death, seen loss, not afraid of death. Certainly willing to embrace death versus destruction of the world. But no one can take that type of emotional manipulation, emotional torture effectively. Certainly not Benson, who again, not an agent, not trained for any of this type of stuff. Can't really hold on. And I love that Mac and Yo-Yo didn't hold that against him. So again, just a very powerful scene right there. But it gives us really some information on how the Monolith creates things. Again, not creating a replica of the individual itself and their experiences, but one that as the subject remembers. Which, for Sarge, as a creation off of Coulson, everything that Coulson's remembered, Sarge would remember, though those memories are suppressed. And I'm going to get into that whole little bit shortly. Great turnaround, Yo-Yo sacrificing herself to get Benson into the pod and pull a Mac out there so they can release it and be able to let the team know where they are. Again, small move, but very smart. I was sort of wondering if Yo-Yo was going to try in some way get rid of the whole gravitonium device. And I wasn't sure how that was going to be able to pull off. But no, the fact that that wasn't really the object. If they could, they would have done it. But at least if they get Benson off the plane, that'll warm the rest of the team. And then we get our final whole sequence in the temple. The temple that is made of the exact same material that the monoliths are. But the monoliths are a particular construction of that material. But all they have is the energy. They got the material, they got the energy. How do you put those things together? Which, again, another beautiful bit of manipulation from Izel. Telling the plan. This is the whole plan, and I love Yo-Yo's bit. Why are you telling us your plan? You know what happens? The bad guy tells us their plan. That's right before the bad guy dies. Thank you so much for saying that. It's totally true. Don't monologue, villains. But she has to do that in order to get Yo-Yo and Mac to think about the creations of the monoliths. That whole speech was just done to get them in the mind of things, to get them to solve her problem, to get them to think of the one person, the one way that they can create a monolith. And that is Flint. From the future, now into the present. Why? Because at the end of 5, he was able to pull all the disparate pieces of the time travel monolith all together from just one tiny little piece. And now with the whole energy of the 3, he will have the ability to pull them all together. And of course, as humans can only think of things that scare them, he's going to do the very thing that they're scared of. So, dun 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 dun! Now we did have some very important information brought to us by Team FitzSimons and Deke. I love that Deja referred to as Team FitzSimons. That was awesome. But Deke here, finding his place. And again, I love his arc, mini arc kind of in this, because obviously, like I said, trying to find his place. Deke isn't really the smoothest social person. He comes from a dark future where social interaction is very iffy and everything's about being used. So you should give him a little bit of latitude here in trying to transition into proper social interactions. Very painful in the beginning as he is trying to be part of Team FitzSimons, a whole family unit, just sort of echoing their ideas back and forth. I was really concerned that was going to be like the whole episode. And I'm glad they moved past that. Like I said, I love Jeff Ward. I like Deke as a character. They definitely been using him as kind of a grating bit, as an uncomfortable bit. But again, as I said, sort of makes sense considering where he is from and now really trying to fit into a world that definitely is not his. But we do get some great information from all of that. One, of course, the sword that Sarge brought in order to kill Izel, made of the same material as the knife. So, if it can kill the Shrike, perhaps it can then kill Izel as well. Problem, of course, being that Izel could most likely be in somebody that they don't want to kill. And would they just kill the host, or would they kill Izel as well? Sarge seems to think that it'll take out Izel, but then again, Sarge is kind of going through a lot right now, so who knows everything of if he knows that it would actually work. But what we find out later on is trying to figure out, which I loved, how do you then save the person that Izel is in? How do you separate them? And that gets into the whole idea of resonant frequencies, which Deke discovers in that beautiful bit at the end as Fitz and Simmons are kind of shooting ideas back and forth, and Deke's finally like, just shut up, both of you, I've got something, let me look at this thing. What is it that Sarge said? Her song resonating through his bones. That's how Izel gets in. Much like, for you DC fans, The Flash phasing through an object, or we could say Kitty Pryde walking through walls. Same thing back in Marvel. The ability to sort of possess is she resonates her cells, her molecules, her very atoms in with the individual that she takes over. Again, atoms, 99.9% empty space. A lot of room in order to move things in. Resonate, harmonic frequencies on top of that. You can actually inhabit the exact, two objects can inhabit the exact same space. And when she does so, she takes over the subject's motor functions and represses their memories. Which is why nobody remembers when she is taken over. So, here's an idea. Take speed! Methamphetamines. Keep that brain going. No, it's a bad idea. A lot of bad side effects. Just create a device, belt buckle, I think is the one that they were coming in, that would sort of create a sonic barrier to keep Izel from taking over, or at the very least, maybe not repress the memories. Allow maybe the individual to fight against the influence of Izel when they're in their body. So, great idea, very cool, love the explanation for it. But again, it gives us another hint with Sarge, aka Coulson plus Pachkutik, that's why Sarge can't remember those memories, because Coulson's memories are suppressed. Pachkutik is probably taking over his body the same way. However, doesn't have the same abilities. Remember, Izel created her own body and used that to leave the realm. Therefore, she has a stable form that allows her to go in and go out of an individual. Pachkutik, still formless, took over Coulson's body. Again, who are those individuals? Who are the robed ones that we're looking? We'll find out. But that suppresses Coulson's memories down there. But Pachkutik doesn't have that solid sense of self either, which is why I think Sarge is that sort of blend of Pachkutik and Coulson. And while Pachkutik is being awoken, also Coulson is slowly being awoken. So if they can kick Pachkutik out of Coulson's body, Coulson will be left. He should wake up. Now, yes, this is a replica, this is a clone, this is a creation of the Monolith, but it has all of Coulson's memories all the way up until, episode 10 of season 5. So, or, no, a little bit after that. Anyway, point being, it should be Coulson there or a replication. Now, the one thing is that when you kill the creations of the creation Monolith, They do that sort of just wavy disappearance type thing into nothing. Sarge hasn't died when he's been shot, when he's been killed, because of the power of Pachacootic with him to sort of reanimate. I'm just guessing is that he's animated that body for so long, when he leaves, it should still be there. And maybe it's an actual creation. So, anyway, it does give us hope that Coulson's going to be back by the end of the season. Alright, I'm going along, so let me just hit on a couple of small things right here. One, we get another mention of Robbie Reyes this episode. Last episode, of course, we had Fitz telling Deke there was only one other individual, Ghost Rider, that acted the same way. Here we have Gemma mentioning Robbie Reyes. So, that can't just be a drop, right? That means we gotta see Robbie by the end of the season. Yeah, right? Gotta come out. We're doing Dark Dimension type stuff. That's his realm. That can't just be named. Not twice. Not twice. When Benson was describing the temple and the monoliths and why it was created, very interesting question added on to that. The why part. Why have these monoliths? Why open a doorway between our world and Izel's? Because there are trapped souls yearning to be free. It's very interesting. Now, of course, Izel and Pachacootic, they do come from a realm where there is no form, which is why they wanted to come to Earth and sort of take over the galaxy and everything like that. But again, it just sort of it just begs the question why. And also, are some souls put in there and trapped? I mean, is there a legitimate reason to pull them out? And yet, it's also a realm of demons that could come out too. Anyway, I just love the fact that the question was at least asked. Why? Trapped souls yearning to be free. Would that be referring again to Coulson's soul trapped in there, maybe? Or is that just demons, and why would you want to bring demons to the Earth? Still don't know about the whole Monolith creation thing. It was created by Izel's people, but it was brought here. Maybe that was used as a doorway, and then it was in order to hold that open for everyone else to come through. Don't know yet, but love that the question was asked. Still a couple of nice Yo-Yo Mac moments. Especially the question, Mac, if I'm going to be an agent, you got to let me take danger. No, my decision was purely tactical. 2 hours later, my decision was not completely tactical. It's alright, she would have gone after him too. Love that relationship. Also, I love them sort of handcuffed inside the temple. Very Raiders of the Lost Ark image going on right there. Yes, Indy and Marion were tied up on the bluffs on the island and stuff when they opened up the Well of Souls. But still, sort of you blend that scene and the whole Well of the Souls bit. Very, very reminiscent of that scene. Also, love the whole Dutch camera angles that were going on here. A little bit, very much Batman villainy. Oh, and that the weapons, the swords, and the knives are made from a material that resonates specifically with the monolith frequency, and that's how it disrupts the connection of the Shrike and the individual and ends up killing the Shrike, which again, made of monolith type material. Just, come on, that's awesome. That is great sci-fi right there. And I love how throughout we've been seeing Coulson slowly popping up in Sarge, his influence appearing more and more. And again, no so more than in that scene between Daisy and Sarge in the hallway from our scene of the week. When he says, "You've always been stronger than you thought." It's not something that Sarge could know. That's a bit of Coulson knowledge. So I love how that just, again, pops up, and that is the line that finally gets through with Daisy and what's happening. So I just love how they have worked this arc with these small little reveals, giving us our little glimpses, and yet not totally giving us Phil yet. And finally, we get our little epilogue scene there with the Chronicoms, who I guess have just gone through all of Fitzsimmons' memories. What did they discover? Well, certainly something that could save Chronica 2, but the Hunters aren't having it. They want a Chronica 3. certainly willing to kill to do it. So, I guess even amongst robotic type machines, there's still strong emotions of love and hate and murder. Murder most foul. I mean, true, you should have a backup in case your original plan doesn't work. But the hunters now taking things over, little scary. Also, what world do they want to dominate as a backup for Chronica 2? My guess it's going to be Earth. And that they need the Monoliths they've discovered the whole time traveling from Gemma. And so they want to get the Monolith in order to... Yeah, they're going to be popping up in the next episode. Alright, but I think that covers just about everything. Now, next week is the end! I mean, we do get a good 2-hour episode. Episodes 12 and 13 back-to-back next Friday. But that's it. That's the end. Until next summer. We'll have another adventure, another season. But then that'll be the end, too. A lot of emotions happening right now. But very excited to see how this all runs out. Hopefully, like I say, they're going to kick Pachakutik out. We're going to get our Coulson back. He's going to be back for 7, whatever adventure goes on there. Really can't wait to see this. And, of course, what are the Chronicoms going to do? They've been sort of periphery these last few episodes, but they're definitely going to play in a big... they're going to have a big play in the next couple of episodes. And maybe that's what's going to lead us into our Season 7 adventure. A lot of moving pieces, not a lot of time to wrap things up. But we are going to do that next week. Like I said, a lot of emotion. But let's wrap this up now. We can all hold each other after the big finale next week. Anyway, but that will wrap us up for now. Thank you so much for watching this review. As always, greatly appreciated. And all of your comments. So... go ahead, hit that like button, leave some comments down, tell me what you guys think. What are you expecting out of these final episodes? Will we be getting Coulson back? Is Robbie going to show up? And how much butt kicking in another dimension are we going to do? Probably a lot. Let me know what you guys think. Throw those down in the section below. You can always catch me on Twitter and Instagram. I am at Darren Jakes. Please subscribe. A lot of stuff coming up. We still have Legion, another few episodes for their final season. We've got Preacher coming up next month. For your Lost fans, I'm going to be doing a Season 3 and 4 discussion with Mark over at Enchantment Eternity in the next couple of weeks. Watch the channel. I will let you know when that's going to come up. And, of course... with this season ending, probably going to do a full Season 8 discussion. Hopefully we'll get Rob together, maybe Don Willie. Got to do some little chatting and stuff. We'll find a time. But anyway, I will let you guys know as things go on. How do you keep all that information in the head? Click this button, you can be a subscriber, and you won't miss any of it. And then we'll throw up a couple of our latest reviews right there for you to check out. So, that's going to be it for me. I'm D, and I'm out of here. Talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.